Ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò Jasiri, gbogbo ẹ̀yin ojú tó wò wá. Ojú yín ò ní fọ́, etí yín ò ní di o. I just had to do that, Yoruba.
I love it.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to a brand new week on Jasiri. And can you believe it? Girls, it's 2 months we've been together. We've been in this love relationship for 2 months. And we've sure had a fantastic time, bringing you the very best of morning talk show on air with my girls.
Oh, this same too.
Leave them by the end. Give them 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
But anyway, I know it's belated, but we have to do it. Happy Mother's Day to every mother in the house. And I need to ask, because there's some mothers on this table, and there's also a mother in waiting. Eventually, you'll get there. Mm-hmm. Did you guys get any gifts or surprises?
So I was surprised. That was Mother's Day.
Yes.
Oh no. Because there are like 3 Mother's Day.
Yes, we just finished International Wednesday.
For 4 years, I'm always like, no, this is Mothering Sunday. Mothering Sunday is about mother churches and baby churches or churches that were established. Then there's International Mother's Day, because I'm looking it up for you. Yes. And that's the second Sunday in May. And then there's this Mother's Day we just celebrated.
Somehow this has always skipped me. The March version of Mother's Day. And I always separate it. That Mothering Sunday is different. In my head,
yes,
Mothering Sunday is not the same as Mother's Day. But because we are all under the umbrella and moving under the movement of Mother's Day, I just go with the flow. But I didn't remember that it was Mother's Day.
Honestly, I don't know. It just didn't hit me. And of course, my children were beastly to me. Ara posted me on WhatsApp. I literally begged Shara Adebo David to put me on her IG. And my daughter, she munched her status and sent it to me.
I said, be okay with this.
Mommy, and she posted you. But my son said, well, Happy Mother's Day when he heard it in church. From his heart,
to be honest, I didn't even know. I honestly did not know, because I was busy all through. So I wasn't even online, right? And then I saw it. So I saw it around 9 p.m. I saw my sister's post, and I'm like, yeah. And the next thing I saw was my mother's call. My mom was calling me, and I'm like, Mommy, I'm sorry. She's like, no, nothing. But did you see your sister's post?
So let's take a break on this.
We have to come back.
It's like some of us need to make some quick phone calls, because I didn't even call my mom either. We'll be right back after those phone calls. Let's quickly align before somebody says you're not my child. We've made some of our apologies to our mothers, but like Catherine said, let me just quickly educate you guys, please. So there are like 3 Mother's Days that we celebrate. This one that came after International Women's Day. Then there's also Mothering Sunday. Now, Mothering Sunday is not a Mother's Day. It is not for women. Just a quick explanation. Mothering Sunday is the day honoring mother churches. Those are the churches where one is baptized and becomes a child of the church, or also the churches that establish smaller churches around, and that's Mothering Sunday. Then there's International Mother's Day in May, but really every day should be Mother's Day.
Yeah.
after 9 hours of labor, you come out and you look like your father. I'm not talking about anybody, Sha. All right. I hope you all treated your moms like queens yesterday. And if you didn't, you've made your necessary apologies, blessings. This is where you come in.
I'm sorry, Mommy. I really apologize. I was busy. Please don't compare it with me with my sisters. I was not online. Say it with your full chest that I did not post you. I will post you today and always. Mother, I love you.
I did. His last born things. But the truth is, Mother's Day isn't only about
I'm the one that sent you arrow. You know that some people actually believe all those kind of funny things.
That's what.
But that story.
Exactly. We're about to divert. Go ahead. No.
Okay,
Go ahead.
So like I was saying, I said Mother's Day isn't just about celebrating moms. It's also a day to honor all the nurturing, loving figures in our lives. So I came across the most heartwarming story over the weekend that perfectly captures, before they say I'm entering bedroom voice, that captures the essence of, Lolo, I see you. That sentiment. Now, a widowed father received an incredibly touching Mother's Day surprise from his daughters. Daughters and their fathers, they say. They shared an emotional message calling him the only mother they have left. Oh, Daddy.
Nemo, 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 mama. Precious.
Thank God.
Nemo, 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 mama. Afomulumo achalugo, mama. Nemo, 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 mama. Precious.
Take tissue.
You want her to stay here?
I just take it to my nose and blow it.
And the rest
But
is
I mean,
fine.
that was really heartwarming. I remember last year I posted my mother's picture. I posted my mother's picture
Last year.
on Father's Day. And I was like, Happy Father's Day, Mom. And someone was like, today is Father's Day, not Mother's Day. Stop doing this. And like, my mom is my father. If you can step into the position of a mother and a father, then you're my father. You don't correct my grandma. I know what I'm saying. I know what this woman has been through for me, you know. So I don't, yes, I get it. There's Mother's Day, there's Father's Day. But if someone has filled in that shoe for you, I think it's only fair that you make them feel special. Like, do you know what this man would have gone through? I don't know how long it was they lost their mom, but you know, having your first period and having to talk to your father about it, talking to your father about a messed up relationship, having to talk to your father about girl problems, that's a big role to fill. You know, mothers are not easy to replace. So for him to be able to do that, please give him his flowers.
It's so touching. And they're just over him. I think the guy was just overwhelmed. That you can't blame him. I think it's a moment, just even if it's for a fraction of a moment, that he would miss his wife.
But I would want to know if they have a stepmom.
Even if they have a stepmom, the relationship can be good, but it can never be that relationship.
There's nothing that can replace your mother.
Yeah,
trust
simple.
me. And the fact that I always say to my friends that anyone that takes care of their parents when they're still here, this moment for their father will leave an indelible mark on his heart. For the rest of his life, it doesn't matter what they do or do not do. The fact that they showed him love that touched him this much, honestly, they've just won eternity.
But would boys do? Would boys? I'm curious to know. Would boys? I know that girls have a. Tolu, you can attest to that. Girls have
A special relationship
with
with
their dad.
with their
I know
fathers.
that. But I actually think that these days things are changing, honestly. It depends on the relationship you have with your children. And we must know that our children are different from one another. Like my first son used to be my most cuddly son that would be by my side. But now that he's maturing, he's struggling. I can see him wanting to baby me, but at the same time,
I'm a guy now.
yes, I mean, you know, you tell me, mommy, but you stay downstairs and say, mommy, what do you want to eat? Instead of him coming to the room, I say, mommy, what do you want to eat? That's what he would
just
usually
stand by the
do.
door.
But you can be sure that he's going to make food for me. One day my son made tomatoes he now used eggs as faces. He said, mommy, I know you're going to like it. Even if it's not sweet, you will still eat it. And did you
So
eat
the
it?
thing is, I know a lot of mommy's boy. I think that when they grow, to be honest, they may not be as cuddly, but when it comes to making decisions, that's when you know. And sometimes it can be very detrimental because you now see mommy's boys, translating to their marriage where the mother says this and it's like, mommy said, what do you mean mommy said? Can't you take a stand? I'm like, no, it's my mom and I don't love her. So and you just have to be able to balance it. But I know that there are a lot of mommy's boys. My brother used to be
Daughters-in-law, I'm ready for you. I'm ready for
You
you.
know, I was going to get there. The way she was shaking, but I said, Catherine, don't bite.
I have 3 sons.
And so
that means I'm going to acquire 3 daughters.
Yes.
So you better come correct.
be correct as you are. What I always remember is I'm always telling Korede when she starts her stuff. Me too, I have mother. My mother is in Gumasho. And I'll tell you, even as a grown married woman with a child, a career, there are days I want to go home and I
I'll
just
just
want
be
my
with your
mom to
mom.
come and just tell me, Ayoka, that's my Riki. What do you want? As in, when I go home and I visit, I do nothing. I'm nobody's wife. I'm nobody's mother. I'm only her last born.
And
I
Botolu's
enjoy.
mom can cook.
It's just to be
When we went for her wedding,
What, my wedding? She's still talks
that
about
morning,
it.
the only thing that remained is that by breakfast, we would have eaten the whole day. We ate the whole day at breakfast. There was yam and sauce, there was bread, there was
Mommy.
akara.
No, when next mommy is coming, you are bringing her to town.
honestly.
So when they don't worry, she's coming. So when they
Yes.
came and they stayed with me for a few weeks, it was like, don't go. Let me tell you, because even as adults,
Yes.
I think we all forget the fact that we are still somebody's children and we still need that. just the
Yeah.
petty and everything. So I loved it. Which I missed it.
I saw a video of a lady. She had, I think, 3 or 4 children. Like one was a baby, a toddler. She just had them around, and she was exhausted. So she called her mom. She was like, "Hi, mom. When do these children stop being so needy?" And the mom was like, "Well, you're on the phone with me." So it never stops.
It never stops. And it's a beautiful thing to see, whether it's adoption, it is just by a stroke of luck. We've seen sisters and brothers. We've just seen people step into the role of mothers and fathers. And we applaud you for upholding that role in a child's life and showing them that love. And we say thank you to everybody who is in that role. Well, I think it's the perfect stage for us to segue into today's show. We got a lineup of trending discussions, inspiring, and some shocking stories to share with you as well. So stay tuned, because you won't want to miss what's coming up on Jasiri today. Stay with us.
Right, welcome back. We remember we're streaming on our social media platforms live. We're at News Central, at News Central TV. Please use the hashtag Jasiri to be part of the conversation that we're having. That way we'll know you're watching. We began something fresh last week, Monday, because a lot happens between Friday and Monday morning. We decided that every Monday we will catch you up on the juicy stories from the weekend. So starting us off this morning is our blessing.
Thank you very much for that statement. I appreciate that. Anyways, every International Women's Day highlights conversations around the status of women's rights across the globe. And frankly, this recent statistics from the 2023-2024 Women, Peace and Security Index got me fired up. Now, it draws on recognized data sources to measure women's inclusion, women's justice and security in 177 countries and economies, and Nigeria ranked 162 out of 177 most unsafe countries in the world for women, and a shocking 10th in Africa. Honestly, it does feel like we're taking 2 steps forward and 3 steps backward at this time.
So let's look at some of the top and worst countries on the index. So we have the best performing countries in Women's Peace and Security Index 2023-2024, Denmark, Switzerland, Sweden, Finland, Iceland, Luxembourg, Norway, Austria, Netherlands, New Zealand, Australia, and Belgium. And we'll remember that one of our guests last week also mentioned the Nordic countries when it comes to being ready to take care of women. Then we have the worst 10 countries. You have Iraq, Somalia, Eswatini, Syrian Arab Republic, Burundi, South Sudan, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Central African Republic, Yemen, and Afghanistan. And doesn't it strike you as interesting that many of the Middle Eastern and countries that are on this list are in some form of war? And then you have some of these African countries who are not, quote unquote, at war. But now there are 13 indicators that are considered under this measurement index as well. And some of those include inclusion, justice, security, education, financial inclusion, employment, cell phone use, parliamentary representation. Our conversations all last week touched on this as well. Now, under justice, you have the absence of legal discrimination, access to justice, maternal mortality, and son bias as well. Under security, there's intimate partner violence, what many might consider domestic violence, community safety, political violence targeting women, and proximity to conflict as well as part of the factors.
All right, so the PRIO Center on Gender, Peace and Security did a focus report on political violence. It targeted women, and they found that, listen to this, in the 2023-2024 WPS Index, the 5 countries with the most events of political violence targeting women were Mexico, Brazil, Nigeria, the Democratic Republic of Congo, and Myanmar. Now, together, these 5 countries account for 43% of political violence events targeting women globally.
That's a lot.
Yes.
A lot of statistics, if you must say. It's a damning indictment of our leadership and their failure to prioritize the safety and well-being of more than half of the population. Nigeria ranks low on various gender equality indices that continue to widen the gap between men and women. We experience high levels of gender-based violence, including domestic violence, sexual assault, and harmful traditional practices, and such as female genital mutilation, FGM, and child marriage. And while there are laws in place to protect women's rights, enforcement and implementation remain very weak, leading to the impunity for the perpetrators and limited access to justice for survivors.
Now, that's not all. Concerning conflict-related violence, women and girls in Nigeria are particularly vulnerable, especially when it comes to abductions, sexual violence, and forced displacement. The insurgency by Boko Haram, for example, in northeastern Nigeria has further exacerbated these challenges. Women in Nigeria also face significant barriers to economic participation, which we talked about not long ago, from limited access to education to lack of employment opportunities and financial resources. Now, almost 64 years after independence, it reeks of negligence and apathy towards women.
All right, so having said that, dear President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I'm speaking to you directly now as a representative of the women in Nigeria. I urge you to take immediate and drastic steps or decisive action to address the safety concerns facing our nation's women. Recent stats that rank Nigeria as the 10th most unsafe country for women in Africa, 162nd in the world, are not just numbers. They represent the lived experiences of countless women who fear for their safety every single day.
Ladies, I think we need to talk about these statistics that we've just come across, because it feels like it is a lot to take in, but this is the daily life. And I always ask the question, Nigerian women and girls, they're not safe at home. They're not safe in their neighborhoods. They're not safe at schools. They're not safe in their places of religious worship. They're not safe in their workplaces. They're not safe.
They're not safe
anywhere.
And I think that even the other gender is not doing enough. I remember one time I was getting on a BRT, and it was around, I think, 5-ish p.m. There's this guy that kept following me from where I was. So I highlighted from a bus, and then I was getting on a BRT. And this guy kept following me. And my target was, okay, once I get in that bus, because there are people that call people in. So there was a guy standing there. So in my mind, once I get there and enter, maybe the guy will block him off. So I kept walking and walking. I was so scared. And when I got there, I climbed in. And this guy followed me. So I was the first person because it was still quite early. People had not started. So I was the first to enter. And this guy followed me. And I looked at the guy standing there and I was like, why did you let him follow? What if maybe he wanted to do something harmful? And he just hissed and walked away.
Honestly, sometimes we just don't take attention. We just don't. And I think that women, we need to try to be more decisive for our own selves, especially when it concerns our personal safety. A lot of women still do not know anything about self-defense. I think it's a class that all of us should take one time in our lives, at least to physically be able to ward off an assailant in some very dire situations.
Yeah, I'm an advocate
and
for
we
that.
need to be able to carry maybe pepper spray, something to just keep yourself safe in the meantime. Because if you're waiting for somebody to actually help you, I don't think in Nigeria, I think people find it amusing where women are assaulted. I have actually gone to Yaba a couple of times where I've seen it on social media. I know that this girl was inappropriately dressed. She was practically naked. But I don't think that gives anybody a right to poke at her and touch her and laugh and gawk. And they actually
surrounded her. They were acting like a pack of hyenas.
Traumatized her some more. Even if you don't want her to enter your bus, you could have just called her aside and say, please, you can't be like this and enter the bus. Please make your way home. But they made a public spectacle of her. But you'll be surprised that even after this debacle we probably saw, some of them will probably trace her home, rape the girl, or solicit her for sex. But, if women can, take more attention for themselves, at least, even if nobody is doing anything, even though we're still begging the president that this is not acceptable, it's time for a meaningful change, and we need stronger laws. Better law enforcement and comprehensive support services, for survivors of violence. Women are the backbone of our society. We can't deny that. And their safety and well-being are non-negotiable. We cannot just continue to ignore the urgent need for action. It's important.
It is. And Mr. President, it would really do us good, especially as a country, as a nation, and as a continent, that you and the administration listen to the voices of Nigerian women, hear our concerns, acknowledge our struggles, and take concrete steps to making our country a safer place for all.
That's why I will give Lagos State their kudos. The Domestic and Sexual Violence Response Agency was a team before, now it's an agency under the Lagos State government, has been fantastic, leading the way, doing trainings and engagements across the markets. They've been doing that across schools as well, because unfortunately we think that we're dealing with men. Not all of these are men. We're finding situations where it's now young boys in secondary school and younger who are targeting women, girls of their age for sexual assault and molestation. It is a cancer in our society. And we need to acknowledge that. We need to have those conversations. And that's why we're very big. And I applaud the fact that when we're going through the data, we've had these conversations. We're talking female genital mutilation on Jasiri. We're talking women's participation in governance. We're talking women's participation in leadership, because the four of us might be safe, but we are not necessarily all of Nigeria's women.
Yes.
The majority of Nigerian women are not safe. And I can leave this studio today and go to a market and be unsafe.
Yes.
It's a situational situation. It changes from where I am, from one place to the next. And as Blessings has said, we are not going to safeguard ourselves by ourselves. Lolo, we can learn all the self-defense we want, but when you're coming up against a massive man, or you're coming up against a man who has maybe 20 kg on you, it may not work. Let's be really honest.
Stand up for you.
And people do not get involved. I was sharing, I don't know who I was sharing it with earlier. I had a situation when I was younger and I was dating somebody, and I was trying to leave. I was on an Okada. And I was telling the Okada, go. And then he was on Okada. And he was directing my Okada to pull over. And my Okada pulled over and said, Auntie, I don't want to get involved. I'm the one paying. I wanted to leave a situation. Why are you pulling over because a man tells you to pull over? So we need to question ourselves and the actions that we individually take that oftentimes can either put women in harm or make it look like women's safety is not a priority. The time for action is now, and the women of Nigeria are counting on you, Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to lead with courage, compassion, and conviction. And we're also calling for the children and the young children and women who were kidnapped this past week to be brought home. None of us are safe as long as no woman or child in this Nigeria is safe. We can do better. We don't want this to be a hashtag peace for women, hashtag safety for women, hashtag bring our girls back. That's not what this is about. It's about conversations that demand change, and they happen right here on Jasiri. We'll take a quick break. Stay with us.
All right, guys, welcome back to Jasiri here on News Central. We're still touching on happenings over the weekend and looking forward to hearing from you in the comments across our social media channels at News Central TV using the hashtag Jasiri. Now, in a very interesting turn of events, President Bola Tinubu has signed an executive order instructing customs to return seized food items to their owners. Now, this is not something you hear every day. This thing happened because of what? I would have liked to know the thought process of Mr. President. Do you think it's something he would have swiftly done by himself, or just people coming together, his board of advisors coming together and advising, you know?
This is said to be conditional on the fact that they would be sold in the Nigerian markets to boost food sufficiency. So we're having a food insecurity situation right now. Things are difficult for people in buying food. Some of these come from the trucks that were confiscated on the way trying to get out of the country. But you're saying give the food, give these items back to their owners on the basis that they'll go to the markets and sell them. How do you guarantee that? How do you guarantee that?
They're not guaranteeing Jack. It's not going back to anything. They're not selling.
The intention is good, right? Out of your own magnanimity, you want to make sure that food is available and all that. But isn't this going against the law? The food items were confiscated because they were smuggled, I would like to believe. And then if you're returning it to the owner, then what is the penalty? What are the repercussions? What does this say about people who would now want to do it again eventually? If the food items are confiscated, the rice that they sold at 10K, where did that come from?
Confiscated.
So why not just sell it to people? Why do you have to return it to the people who violated the law for them to sell it? And what's the guarantee?
And you know that some of these things that are actually even confiscated, some of them are not up to standard. You know, so sometimes we need to really double check and recheck these things, because if they're smuggling them in, you should know that there are commas and some little hitches here and there. Even though people say all sorts of things, I don't completely believe. Oh, there's plastic rice, there's plastic fish. There's nothing I haven't seen on social media that they are touting that they are not, you know, the right things to eat. But if they're giving them back to, they should know that if they're seizing them in the first place, please double check it. Before you even put it out into the they're fit for consumption.
Whether there's
before
no
you
dead
send it back to the owners. And when you give this kind of green light, you can be sure that they say, government is fún wa láyè. Exactly. 13 trailer wọlé.
Because now, even if they catch you and they confiscate, it's just a matter of time. They're going to return it to you. So we're enabling.
We're enabling. You know, this is all coming at a really, really bad time for customs. So if you're following the conversation on social media, Fisayo Shoyombo has done a massive piece on high-ranking officials within customs agency who have been involved with smugglers. And he's saying this goes all the way up to somebody allegedly attached or somehow connected to the president. We also have Premium Times, which did a massive investigation as well as to how some high-ranking officials of the Nigerian Customs Service were arrested and detained for days when the EFCC traced about 12 billion naira proceeds of bribes from smugglers to them. And remember last week the news broke of that the one guy in the Nigerian Customs Service who returned some amount of money that he had allegedly been given as bribes. And so when you look at this, yes, we're having a food insecurity, food insufficiency moment, but you're circumventing. As Blessing said, why not sell it through customs as you did? Why are you returning to the owners in the midst of what is a really, really, really horrible PR storm for Nigerian Customs Service?
For all you care, this alleged stuff becomes reality. Because they say there's never smoke without fire.
Oh, well.
You might be surprised that some high-ranking official had just smuggled some things and they need a leeway to be able to get it into the country. And of course, they want a presidential pass to make it easier for them. When would we learn to do things the right way? We can't be speaking from two sides of our mouth. We can't say, oh, we're a law-abiding country, and yet we're finding ways for people to circumvent, you know, the law.
And speaking of law-abiding, Seth, I don't know when this whole thing started, where you just wake up and decide that, oh, I want to be magnanimous today, so I would defy the law, defy the Constitution, and this is what I feel like I should do, so let's do it. I want to believe that we're a government that has structure.
But
right?
that's where executive power comes in. He's exercising. So he has the legal power to exercise executive power. What you're talking about is more of a moral justification, an ethical compass. That in this situation, even if you have the power, you shouldn't. Because let's talk about the small farmers and the small businesses who follow the rules, who are frustrated by the rules, who want to do everything they can to bring in goods, to do whatever business they want to do in Nigeria, but they can't because of these same agency. And now we don't know who the owners are. That's another thing, Mr. President. You want us to return this to the owners. Who are the owners?
Ebotolu, it's you that don't know the owner.
Why are you being Have you seen Have you guys seen the rices that were there? The rices, meaning that the bags of rice.
Of course they know.
That's what we've been showing.
They're like pyramids.
Of course they know who this is.
People are, that is money. This is a money-making adventure for so many people. It will now become a racket.
And they said that they're helping to feed Nigerians that are hungry. Honestly, so it's the good thing we should look at.
I don't even buy into the fact that the president should have that much autonomy in making decisions.
No, executive.
I want to believe that there should be a body that can vet. I think that's where is it the board of advisors now should come.
Which board of advisors?
No. When
what you're calling board of advisors is the Federal Executive Council. He doesn't have to take it. Once it's an executive order, he doesn't have to go there. I know we have questions. I want to say something, but I can't say something. I know we have questions. Let's move on from there because I want to get into this next one. And I don't know if you've missed it. If you did, are you living under a rock on Nigerian social media? There was a fiery exchange that took place during a road inspection in Anambra State where Governor Charles Soludo publicly chastised his Commissioner of Works for poor execution, calling him incompetent. Here's the video.
You started, you come and bulldoze it down. If I come here again and I see any of these rubbish, I'll sack you publicly. You're incompetent. They began it and you are watching it going on and you didn't bring it down. Don't say, okay, you tell me the person, tell me the officer, and I'll kick him out. And they get me the paper who approved it and I'll sack that person tomorrow. Get me, whoever, if anybody approved this, that person is leaving my government tomorrow.
is a public dress down. We can see it. But if we want to be honest, are we not supposed to ask who appointed the commissioner? Yep. And this raises question of competence and qualified people leading our ministries. And checks and balances, they need to place within the system to ensure that things are being done right. And was it somebody holding the camera? Why is it so well positioned? Oh, please, somebody should please.
It was just performance.
Oh, yeah. Just like it's an excerpt
is it a
from
PR?
A nice home video.
Is it a PR? What are you doing?
So
and that thing he's holding in his hand is called what? That
offer.
Is that not a tusk? It's a tusk.
And that's what they call offer. What's the purpose of that?
It's for authority.
Okay,
really,
to show that he's not playing.
Yes.
To show that he's working.
Show me the person that comes here, you sack him tomorrow.
You know, there are some things that when we do it, it just makes us feel like our leadership do not respect us as a people.
I agree.
This is something you call him into office, and the next thing we just hear is executive order of somebody being sacked because of his incompetence. But showing us drama from like a pull-out scene from a film.
And did you see that? Did you see that he looked at the camera at some point?
Governor. You know it's not an actor. You should have cut it and said, sir, don't look at the camera.
But wait, but you know some people said that the commissioner should not have been arguing with him because yes, you can see at this point the commissioner is trying to explain, trying to argue, trying to put out
the commissioner himself with phone in hand. The commissioner looks like a guy man now, and he's looking at him like that's his guy.
Because that's his guy.
So the commissioner is wondering, Baba Namio is
governor now my guy.
He wasn't expecting.
No, we need to make a record here. So Baba, somebody must take one for the team.
And so the commissioner did not know.
The with his red trousers.
It's as though the camera was like directly positioned.
Of course, it was
every single angle. Come on,
every angle, and they even mixed it.
But wait, somebody will ask you, people, what is it exactly that Nigerians want? Whether he's performing for you, whether he's showing, it's showing that he wants to hold somebody accountable. If he doesn't do it on camera, will we believe that it's being done?
So my question is for the filmmaker. If you want to do something,
she wants to slap me. The way her hand is doing
something. We are suffering in the country. This war that the man is talking about. People are passing it every day.
Is it the Berlin Wall? Is it the Chinese Wall?
So let's look beyond let's look beyond the theatrics now, right? He mentioned incompetence. So let's ask who appointed the commissioner. If you thought he was incompetent, why is it still being in office? It's now you're telling us if you come back again on Monday and you see this, I'll sack you.
He also asked the commissioner to give him a name for something. If you listen there's somebody or a position that one of the contractors that the governor asked the commissioner to give him a name for. And let's be honest, we need to see this. If you look at the things that are happening in Lagos State, we don't necessarily see Governor Sanwo-Olu. We see his commissioners.
So we need to.
But it looks a bit contrived. No, it's not a matter of what we want. We are very simple people by nature. If you ask the Nigerian,
that lets them lead us by the
no. We can ask the Nigerian what do we want. We just want a conducive environment where we can raise our children, enter businesses, and make money when we are making business. That's how. If we have money, we are all right. You are the ones always advocating money. So just give us an avenue, an environment we can thrive. Then that's fine. We want accountability, yes, but don't make it look so contrived like say we are watching Nollywood film of 1985.
Accountability.
It's obviously
it's on the record.
Okay, fine. Let's see what happens after this.
Let's say
I want to see what. Okay, it's asking him for the contractor.
Yes.
So who is supposed to monitor the contractor? Is he supposed? The commissioner cannot do the job. I know, but they have contractors that are supposed to be accountable to him, the commissioner, while he, the commissioner, is accountable to the governor.
So it's the commissioner that is going to be monitoring the contractors.
The governor is now asking for the contractor. That shows that the man is totally incompetent. And another English that can describe incompetent. I'm looking for synonyms so quickly.
I mean, who contracted the contractor?
And that's it now.
So why are you asking for the contractor? If the person that
you're a governor, are you expecting the governor to deal with individual contractors?
No, but focus on the commissioner that you're focusing on. Why are you asking for the contractor?
So the governor has said, give me the name of the person who's not meeting up. And I want him either sacked immediately or by Monday when I come back.
Now they will go to the office and
say, hello.
Can we get a video
one at a time?
Okay, Auntie I.
Okay, you.
Can we get a video when he's sacked? This same positioning, the exact angle, when they fire him and they fire the commissioner. Can we get that video?
Okay.
Catherine, next.
It will shock you.
Eh?
It will shock you that tomorrow now they'll go back to the office and drink beer and say, my guy, what that thing now? It's not that deep. You have to go.
I just
and then
Lolo.
After this, they are just going to go and drink some beer and have some fun. Because this is a good theater act. I loved this particular scene. It was catching. It touched us emotionally. The people felt it. They felt the anger of the governor. But thereafter,
against the man in the red
what is a follow-up experience?
Okay, so
we want to be sure that we see some kind of.
I'm saying I for myself. So you said, what's the follow-up? Okay, I ask, what do Nigerians want? If it doesn't happen in front of us, we won't believe it. I love this playing this devil's advocate. It has been 72-ish hours or so. Let's see what happens. Government says he's coming back on Monday. Today is Monday. We'll all be here together to see what happens.
Exactly.
Just for the record, one more time. Let's hear it.
Shocked. This man in the red trousers.
You started, you come and bulldoze it down. If I come here again and I see any of these rubbish, I'll sack you publicly. I'm incompetent. They began it and you are watching it going on and you didn't bring it down. Don't say, okay, you tell me the person, tell me the officer, and I'll kick him out. And they get me the paper who approved it and I'll sack that person tomorrow. Get me, whoever, if anybody approved this, that person is leaving my government tomorrow.
One at a time.
Today is the tomorrow that he talked about. Can we get a video?
No. Did you hear what he said though? He said if I come back tomorrow and he's still there, you can be very sure that they would have done this.
He now said that get me the person who approved it. I sack him tomorrow. So we want to see the person. I just don't like it when Nigerians are made like you make Nigerians feel like a fool. Because they're asking for accountability.
Did you guys not realize how clear the governor's voice was?
Listen, did you see that content creator?
Oh God, this is my guy.
This is the MVP. Blessing's dress. In black and white.
His legs are akimbo.
To get a real angle.
Listen to me. That guy is not playing. His legs are akimbo. That's the real MVP. That's the cameraman. Because we wanted to get that angle and he got it. That's my guy.
So whether we like it or not, I think we can also take one thing away. There's pressure on our governors. Whether they're performing role or moving for us,
the fact that
there's a pressure and they feel this pressure to put this stuff out on social media to be shown as working. So at the end of the day, maybe there is a positive that we're going to see from this. We will follow up on this particular situation. Professor Charles Soludo, Governor of Anambra State, we'll be looking for you on Twitter. Blessings, we got
all right. I really want to say, Lolo, I don't like this stray bullet. Which one is
Did you see the black and white?
And then I saw the white here.
The remaining of your dress material.
It's okay. We will solve this.
Your producer don't like you today.
That's fine. I don't want to lose my cool.
You're cool, calm, and collected.
Am I?
Say,
All right, okay. Now, our Mondays just got a whole lot brighter with our new segment. It's called Good News Monday. Look, if I wasn't a journalist, I wouldn't be looking at the news because it really can be depressing and annoying and frustrating. But there are good things that happen, and we want to be a platform that offers light and hope on cloudy days. We don't just want to be arguing about theatrics and content and getting Lolo pissed. So today, we're kicking off with a heartwarming story about a group of college students who came together to make a difference in someone's life. And that someone, a Nigerian security man working tirelessly to make ends meet far away from home. Now, these compassionate students didn't just stop at acknowledging his hard work. They took action. They rallied together to raise enough money to buy him a ticket to visit his loved ones in Nigeria. Just take a look.
You're Unc, you're the GOAT. You're one of those people that really care about, and you've made the PC experience so good for all of us, for myself. Everyone here can testify to how good you are. And you told us a while ago that you wanted to see your family in Nigeria, that you haven't seen in a long time. So we came together, fourth floor right, started it, and we spread the word. We started GoFundMe because we take care of our own. That's what we do at PC. As long as I've been here, they've done that for me, done that for each other. So now we're doing it for you, part of the family. So our gift to you is a trip to Nigeria. So, so we have a card for you, and we also have a little gift inside. You're part of the family.
Love you, James.
Love you,
Oh, why are we so dramatic? Can you imagine the joy and gratitude he must have felt?
What's the segment?
Good news.
Good news Monday.
Good news Monday.
Imagine, no, for me, it's the joy, the gratitude.
Yeah.
Listen, the man went down. He did not, do you know when the guy started the speech, you know our children know how to go around in circles before they arrive at their destination. The guy was wondering, okay, what are these kids talking about?
I could see his
But,
face light up when he
listen.
saw the direction this was going. He was like,
As in,
he didn't believe it.
he did not, the man
blessing, you
crumbled
want
to
to
the
cry now.
floor.
No.
I thought there was water.
Listen, he didn't still get it here. He didn't get it here. I mean, but his face began to, you know,
Light
like
up.
Blessing said, this is a quiet transformation. You see what happens when people come together.
But it's not just
good
people.
people.
That's the thing. I don't think it's just about people coming together. They saw his diligence.
His diligence.
Yeah.
He's probably been kind. He probably they speak to him. He asked
probably
after
has to
them,
and then has
he's been
pieces
a
of
good
advice for them.
person. Do you understand? And so this is what they feel they can. Lola, if you say that thing you told me, I'll beat you. So they feel that this is what they can do for him. And we said it's good news. Don't come and spoil it. Too. Keep it. Keep it behind your teeth. Keep it behind your teeth.
Producer, I'm just stifled on this show.
I will stifle you. Keep it behind your teeth. Let's celebrate good news.
Wow! I'm just so joyous. Honestly, but in fairness, I'm beginning to see a lot of wave of people doing random good kindness
Yes.
to people
Yeah.
all across the world. And even here in Nigeria, we see a lot of young people raising money to help people accommodate them, buy food for them.
Surgery. People are raising money for people for
surgeries.
multi-million naira
Yeah,
surgery.
I believe, for me personally, I believe it's a form of tithing. For me personally, it's just a personal. For me, it's nothing gets tithing. For me, more than that. Random acts of kindness. You sow a seed, put in some good energy out there. You don't have to always limit it to a certain space like church or, but you know, there are people who need it. Look at this man, for example. That's everything the students could have. That is the reward
Yeah.
for the hard work, for the GoFundMe. I said they did the whole thing
For him.
and mobilized their friends. You know, young people, Gen
Have
Z
you
and
ever
millennials.
mobilized anybody to help anyone? I remember calling you weekend and letting you know how much I have in my account that is less than 10,000. But the only thing I got is I love you. Is it that none of you are moved on this table for philanthropy on Jasiri? Should we be out feeding the needy?
And you just be needy.
Me needy, oh.
So I
No
also,
needy budget. No. In case somebody is watching that needs to
I
help.
got that one.
I have children in school that I cannot feed on my own. This thing, everything is borrowed.
Okay, so
Everything is borrowed.
yes, but it's always something. There's always something beautiful in something borrowed. Borrowed something. I didn't say something.
Am I getting
I didn't say
married?
everything.
Did I know
for
I have to wear
wedding?
something
I
blue,
just
something
said,
borrowed?
please, if you're talking about Lola, don't go there because there are 8 children on
On
the
the
table.
table.
There are 8 children among the 4 of
And
us.
there's one in the womb.
This one is things that they tell you. So let's not jump.
No,
into
I also wanted to say something, right? Number one, it's not just about being a good person and receiving good. Maybe you be the person who gives someone something, whether the person is good. Just make it a habit of being generous, because a lot of people will be like, "What did he even do for me?" To be honest, that man might have been diligent for years, and those students will
and
not even
nobody
notice
noticed
him, right?
it.
That's one. Then two, please, because of Almighty God, do good for good causes. I've seen this generation is very funny because you will see somebody
generation, like
go
she's not part of-
into a reality TV show and make millions
Baby.
and then come out, but because the person did not win, do not be like, let's rally
Let's buy.
around and-
No, all those ones is for camera. Don't let me
No,
tell
but
you.
there are some that-
Which some? Don't.
Please
Are you
tell
not
me,
a
because
media
no,
girl? Are you not a
because
media
One
girl?
at a time.
because
find
it
this
baffles
interesting.
me that I see people do GoFundMe and raise money for people that have money. So please enlighten me.
You know, you're a child. That's why you're still new in this media jungle. We have been carrying cutlass across this jungle for years.
I know.
So educate.
Unravel.
I know that some of them.
But do you know that everything is for paparazzi?
Yeah.
Do you know that there's a way you can position yourself when you're doing PR that you can elicit emotions from people?
Yeah.
So if you have a
some
good
people
PR
abuse
team,
that, yeah.
I just did a charade right now that if I have a good PR team in New Central, by evening, I should have finished paying my children's school fees abroad.
It's true. It's true.
I would have taken them from their local schools and put them abroad by now.
But
because sometimes it's just for positioning. But that's why I always say that, please, because there are people that truly have needs, don't make it hard for people to support. Because, they've seen it abroad. One woman that was shouting that she had cancer, and she didn't. And they've raised money for her. That means any other person that truly needs our help might not get it.
So let me share this with you guys. So this is good news, and we applaud the students for everything that they've done for this man, and we hope that he will soon see his family.
When he's coming to Nigeria, come to News Jasiri.
We hope that he'll soon be home to see his family. But tomorrow's show is almost the flip side of this, because I don't know if you guys heard on social media about the sisters who helped a woman who fainted in front of their house and who ended up spending time in jail.
Yeah?
Yeah. So
Don't lock your dial tomorrow.
So they ended up spending the night in jail or some hours in jail because they're being good Samaritans.
Wow.
So this thing about helping people, Nigerians are generous. I won't lie.
Yeah. I'll tell you another story tomorrow.
They can take their eyes out. But unfortunately, we're also the ones.
All right, ladies, guys,
tomorrow.
Please don't miss tomorrow. Whatever you do, tune in at 10 a.m. Jasiri. We want to see the flip side of being
what she said.
As we kick off Good News Monday segment, let's keep spreading kindness. Be careful though, share joy and make a positive impact in the world around us. Sadly, our time is up and we have to go. Hope you enjoyed yourself. It's always a pleasure and set with you, ladies.
Share joy feels like it's Christmas.
Bye, guys.